Good afternoon. Welcome to the Market Recap, Monday, November the 16th. I'm John Hoag, and thanks for trusting me with your time. Just filling in for Dan the Man Hodgman this afternoon. Hopefully you've had a good trading day. Some decent opportunities for us today. Hopefully you were able to stay patient and wait for those good trade locations. As usual, we're going to kind of glaze over some of what the markets did today. We're going to take a look at the charts, take a little look at the news, a little bit about history, and we'll be off and ready to rest up for tomorrow's opportunities. As always, thanks again for trusting me. As far as crude oil is concerned, that 41.90 weekly kickoff high remained resistant throughout the session. Don't forget, it's rollover. I'm probably going to move my charts and start trading the January contract tomorrow. There was a little over 300,000 in the December contract, a little over 200,000 traded in the January contract. I'm going to go ahead and make that change to our charts and probably start trading the January tomorrow. If you choose not to, you are fine trading the December contract or the January contract, but pretty sure we're going to see most of the volume in the January contract come Wednesday. It's about a 25-cent premium between the January contract and the December contract. If you're going to move over, make sure you adjust your levels accordingly. As far as the E-mini S&P is concerned, we had a small range digestion of higher prices. Really good news in the news about COVID vaccines. We'll take a look at that in the news here shortly. Looks like the E-mini S&P and the Dow going to close, or just did close, at new all-time highs. However, we did not take out the all-time overnight high that we put in last week. The Dow stopped 2 ticks short of that high. So I think there's still a little upside business to take care of in regular trading hours above those overnight highs. Dow, I think, was up almost 400 at the close today. Last time I looked, it was nearing that level. So pretty decent day for our equities. The NASDAQ, not so much. Value did close higher as Friday's point of control provided support. Still in the short time frame control. Still pretty far off that all-time highs and did not close at a new all-time high. Last I checked, we'll look at that shortly. Gold overnight support at the weekly kickoff low. We did not get our opportunity for an execution down at that level, unfortunately. Just basically a return to Friday's value area. So remember, we had a pretty deep dive before the open this morning. The market really just kind of returned back to Friday's range and back to Friday's area of value. The euro value higher on a little bit more volume, still in short time frame control. And the Japanese yen prices starting to seem to struggle to the upside a little bit. However, on a higher day today, we did bring in a little bit more volume. So that does kind of give a little bit of encouragement to maintaining or those that are holding longs in that market. I'm going to say hello to everybody. Just a couple of people saying hello. Hello, Felix. Hello, Ute. And hello, James. If you do have questions, thoughts, comments, heckling, anything, let me know. Always enjoy a good heckling. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in these charts, starting as usual with the daily in crude. Let's give it a quick look. All right, so we did mention this morning and just now that the market is in rollover. So we do see the market kind of falling into an area of range. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, unable to hold above this 41.90, which is weekly kickoff. Unable to hold above it last night. Remember, in rollover, the market does tend to remain a little bit range bound. And I think that's a lot of probably why we were unable to get a real test of that 41.90 here after the regular trading hour open. So really kind of falling range bound, still wrestling with this previous area of consolidation or range bound activity, we're still kind of fighting with that. It's going to be an interesting day again tomorrow. We are going to be seeing the API tomorrow after the close at 3:30 Central Time, and then of course we're looking forward to the EIA on Wednesday. Let's see what they'll look like here in the 30-minute chart. So yeah, we had a pretty early test of that weekly kickoff high, unable to hold it. Market really just kind of falling back. Unable to close the gap from yesterday. I find that as interesting information. We're going to see what that does for us tomorrow. Here's the E-mini S&P. And so weekly kickoff highs and low were very tight. We were looking for a breakout that actually occurred on Friday afternoon. So we're seeing continuation, still unable to take out that all-time high that was put in the overnight, but certainly a move towards it. Volume held up okay. I'm not that concerned about volume on the upside. The equities rarely bring in huge volume and upside moves. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. So we got a nice move here, another kind of a late spike here, late in the session here. That's going to be an interesting opportunity for us tomorrow. The market opened with a gap, unable to close the gap, with a late spike late in the day. If we open inside this late spike tomorrow or above it, I'm really expecting a check or a test of this recent all-time high that occurred in the overnight. So I think we're starting to see some more buyers coming into this market. We were talking last week about how we recognize longer time frame buyers or sellers in a particular market. We still have that on my mind, and we will be taking a look at that hopefully shortly, if not in the market forecast or the recap, possibly in the group coaching that is this Wednesday. Here's the NASDAQ. Did we put in a new all-time high? Did we put in an all-time new high close? We did not. Still wrestling, still trying to get that market moving again. It has been presenting as a very strong market, of course, of late. Seems like the market lagging a little bit. There's still lots of information and lots of big opportunity coming in the NASDAQ. We're going to probably... I'm thinking that at some point this week, we're going to see some sort of a test of weekly kickoff high 12,130, and we're going to see how the market responds after that. Again, the overnight high that occurred on Monday is not an all-time high. However, it did occur in the overnight. It is a recent high. I'm looking for this market to take another look up at that level in regular trading hours. Here's the way the market worked out in the short time frame. The market opening basically in value and range from yesterday. Then think about what the S&P did. The S&P opened higher and couldn't close the gap. All we did was kind of reject the value from the last 3 days to the upside. Important information. Remember, whatever happens in these markets, there's a high risk of headline risk. There's a high probability of headline risk. Again, maybe seeing a little bit of a late spike to the upside. If we open higher, we're going to see maybe if that market can continue in that upside momentum. Here's the gold. Again, still in an interesting situation. That overnight test of weekly kickoff low, finding ourselves kind of closing the all-day session here in a bit of a doji's, a little bit of a confusion, a little bit of fight going on as to what direction this market may end up heading. Here's the 30-minute chart. We were talking about, we had this big dive down towards weekly kickoff low, which was supportive. By the regular trading hour open, we were probably seeing some of our shorter term sellers from last night bailing out of those positions. The market did not leave the opening range necessarily at the low of the session. However, The auction process to the downside did not bring new volume, new participation, or new momentum. The market returns basically straight back to settlement first, and then basically ranges inside Friday's range the rest of the session. We're seeing a little bit of consolidation here, a little evening out of the inventory, let's say. All right. The euro, centrally located still, weekly kickoff high to weekly kickoff low, still short time frame, a little bit better volume. Okay, so we're starting to see a little bit volume moving away from the weekly kickoff low. The 30-minute chart, opening in range, opening in value. The market really continuing to bring value higher over time. How did the volume do today? A little bit higher volume. That's good news for continuation to the upside when we're looking at the market as an auction process. We want to see, if we want to see price continue in that upward momentum, we want to see volume continuing higher over time. So we're going to see, you got 4 days left this week. We've got lots of opportunity left, and you can see how volume has just been continuing to move slightly higher over time, overlapping to higher. The market continuing to try and push higher. Not really seeing any kind of late spike except for after the regular trading hour close. I'm looking forward to doing my homework tonight, and then getting up tomorrow and seeing how the market has treated the overnight session. Now we have the Japanese yen again. We were talking last week. This was supportive down here. The fact that we were not able to accept price below this trend line had me thinking, okay, I'm going to be looking for opportunities to stay long or to get long in the Japanese yen. I think it paid us a little bit today. It seems as though the market might be struggling a little bit to continue this move to the upside. We're not seeing the same momentum off this low. However, we did see an increase in volume. What's the open interest going to hold for us tomorrow? Well, here's our, just like gold, basically. We had a stab to the downside. The low of this move, basically to the low here, basically to the point of control here. Buyers come back, bring the market. A little bit different because the market did kind of bring value over time. It was just a very narrow range once we got back up to this level, but we're seeing value continuing to move higher, a little bit narrower today. I'm going to be very interested to see if this market can bring in more participation to the upside. If we can bring in more volume, then I'll look for a little bit of an acceleration, perhaps up to that weekly kickoff high, which is 96.10. We're a little bit off the mark here, right up here. So this is really kind of the terminus that I was looking for after we were unable really to kind of close or accept above this trend line. So we're going to see if we can get that opportunity for an execution or an exit up at 96.10. So just a kind of a brief look at what the markets did today. Do your homework tonight. Remember, it is rollover for the crude oil. I'm going to be looking at the January contract tomorrow. Again, it's okay if you trade either. Either is going to be fine. What did we do as far as the news today? The news has pretty much, as far as I can see, most importantly centered around Moderna's vaccine. Apparently, it's 94% effective, or more than 94% effective, which is wonderful, which is great. Shares of Moderna soared, of course, today. More importantly, I think it's going to be, it's going to be a great thing for humanity if we can get this virus under control. On top of that, the speed at which these companies in science were able to get these vaccines out and available, I think, is very encouraging for potential illnesses at some point in the future. It's really kind of amazing how fast they have been able to come up with these. From what I understand, the FDA is going to fast track approval to them. Hopefully, they're going to be safe. The Moderna vaccine, from what I understand, is far more stable and easier to keep fresh. So that's also a good thing. As far as anything else, I mean, it really seems like the the vaccines are really the big thing. On top of that, the surges in coronavirus that are going out right now. Apparently, there's a potential cluster at the World Health Organization of COVID cases. You know, it's nobody. Nobody is immune to it. At least not yet. Hopefully, we are going to be soon. On this day in history, a couple of interesting things went on. In 1907, Oklahoma enters the Union. 1959, The Sound of Music premieres on Broadway. I think everybody loves that film. In 2001, Harry Potter film opens on this date. As far as news is in music, I always like to look at the history in music. 1960, Patsy Cline recorded I Fall to Pieces on this date. Turned into her first number one hit. Beatles recorded their second appearance on Radio Luxembourg. They did both sides of their latest single, Love Me Do, and P.S. I Love You. 1968, always got to get Zeppelin into this. Led Zeppelin played their first ever show in north of England. They were paid £225 for the gig. £225 for the... I've played gigs where I made more than that. This is Led Zeppelin. But again, remember, it is 1968. John Lennon's Whatever Gets You Through the Night hits number one on this date in 1974. And that's most important things I'm seeing there. All right. As far as economic releases for tomorrow we're going to be looking at 7:30 in the morning Central Time, retail sales, import, export prices. 8:15, industrial production. 9 o'clock, again, Central Time, business inventories and housing market index. There is a host of talking feds speaking tomorrow, all of them in the afternoon, starting at noon. We have Bostic, we have Daly, we have Williams, we have Daly talking again, we have Bostic talking again. We have Rosengren, Daly, Rosengren, and Barkin. So a lot of them talking in different areas and at different times throughout the afternoon tomorrow. Don't really know if we're going to need to pay that much attention to that, but it never hurts. Again, retail sales, import, exports tomorrow. Red Book, 7:55, industrial production. 8:15, business inventories, 9 o'clock. That's going to round out our economic numbers for tomorrow. I'm going to call this a session. Great to see everybody. As always, thanks for joining me. We'll see you tomorrow morning. I'll be there for the market forecast, 8 a.m. Central Time. I will be ready and raring to take a look at these markets with you, see if we can find some decent opportunities. Until then, get some good rest. Take it easy. There's a lot of trading left. We got 4 days left of this week. Next week is Thanksgiving. Hey, did anybody check out that launch yesterday of SpaceX? Pretty cool stuff. Very awesome. And James, good to see you. Murph, good to see you. Great to see everyone. Get a good night's sleep. If you are going to be trading tonight, make sure you keep your powder dry. If things don't go so well, make sure you always trade for tomorrow. Trade for tomorrow. We'll see you in the morning again, 8 o'clock for the market forecast. Till then, trade well.